The most disturbing aspect of this case isn't just that 32-year-old Kenneth Lindstrand was shot and killed at a Halloween party in Van Nuys, California in 1967. It's that nearly 100 witnesses watched it happen and initially thought his murder was an elaborate Halloween prank. As Kenneth lay dying on the floor, a woman in a hula skirt actually danced over his body, saying, "This will wake him up," until she noticed the pool of blood spreading beneath him. What began as a night of Halloween celebration turned into a nightmare of jealousy and violence, witnessed by dozens of costumed partygoers who couldn't distinguish between Halloween theatrics and real-life murder. This is the story of how a dance at a party led to death, and how the line between Halloween fantasy and brutal reality became tragically blurred. Viewer discretion is advised. If you're fascinated by true crime cases involving jealousy and public violence, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel with notifications turned on for more shocking investigations like this one. Kenneth A. Lindstrand was a successful 32-year-old directory publisher living in the San Fernando Valley in 1967. He was described by those who knew him as a charismatic and social man who enjoyed the nightlife scene in Los Angeles. Kenneth had built a profitable business publishing telephone directories and had accumulated considerable wealth, with investigators later discovering over $100,000 in safety deposit boxes, a substantial sum equivalent to nearly $750,000 today. Kenneth was known for his love of parties and social gatherings, and he had a reputation as something of a ladies' man who enjoyed dancing and socializing with attractive women. His success in business had afforded him a comfortable lifestyle, and he was often seen at the trendy clubs and parties that defined Los Angeles nightlife in the late 1960s. However, his social nature and charm with women would ultimately lead to his downfall. October 31st, 1967, was a Tuesday night, and Halloween parties were taking place throughout Los Angeles. One such party was being held at a private residence in Van Nuys, drawing a crowd of nearly 100 revelers dressed in elaborate costumes celebrating the holiday. The party was in full swing, with guests dancing, drinking, and enjoying the festive atmosphere that only Halloween could provide. The host had decorated the house with typical Halloween decorations, creating an environment where the macabre and theatrical were not only accepted but encouraged. Among the partygoers was 35-year-old Jack Gentry Stearns, who had attended the party with his 22-year-old wife, Maria. Jack was described as a jealous and possessive husband who had a history of becoming aggressive when he felt his wife was receiving unwanted attention from other men. The couple had been having marital problems, and Jack's jealousy had become increasingly problematic in their relationship. Kenneth Lindstrand arrived at the party just after 1 a.m. on November 1st, making him one of the later arrivals to the celebration. Unlike most of the other guests, Kenneth was not wearing a costume, choosing instead to dress in regular street clothes. His lack of costume made him stand out among the sea of costumed revelers, but Kenneth seemed comfortable and confident as he mingled with the crowd and surveyed the party scene. It didn't take long for Kenneth to notice the attractive women at the party, and he soon began asking various female guests to dance. Kenneth was a skilled dancer and charming conversationalist, and several women accepted his invitations to join him on the makeshift dance floor. Among those who caught Kenneth's attention was Maria Stearns, the young wife of Jack Stearns, who was dressed in costume and enjoying the party atmosphere. When Kenneth approached Maria and asked her to dance, she accepted, and the two began dancing together on the crowded dance floor. To most observers, it appeared to be innocent fun, a friendly dance between two people enjoying a Halloween party. However, Jack Stearns saw the interaction very differently. From across the room, he watched with growing anger as his wife danced with the charismatic stranger, his jealousy building with each moment they spent together. The dance between Kenneth and Maria lasted several minutes, during which Jack's rage continued to escalate. Other partygoers later recalled seeing Jack watching the dance with obvious displeasure, his face growing darker as he consumed more alcohol and his jealousy intensified. When the dance ended, Kenneth thanked Maria and moved on to socialize with other guests, apparently unaware of the dangerous situation he had created. Jack Stearns confronted his wife about the dance, and witnesses later testified that they had seen the couple arguing near the edge of the party. Maria tried to calm her husband, explaining that it had been just a harmless dance, but Jack was beyond reasoning. His jealousy had been triggered, and he was determined to confront the man who had dared to dance with his wife. The combination of alcohol, jealousy, and his possessive nature created a volatile situation that was about to explode. At some point during the evening, Jack left the party briefly, and when he returned, he was carrying a gun. None of the other partygoers noticed the weapon, as the crowded, dimly lit environment and the distraction of costumes and festivities made it easy for Jack to conceal his deadly intentions. He began looking for Kenneth, his anger having transformed into a murderous rage that would soon shatter the Halloween celebration. Kenneth was outside the house, possibly getting some fresh air or having a conversation with another non-costumed guest, when Jack Stearns confronted him. Witnesses later reported seeing two men in street clothes having what appeared to be a heated discussion outside the party. The conversation quickly escalated into a physical confrontation, with Jack apparently threatening Kenneth over the dance with Maria. Realizing the danger he was in, Kenneth tried to escape by running back into the party, hoping that the crowd of witnesses would deter Jack from violence. Kenneth burst through the front door and into the crowded party, with Jack in pursuit. The sudden commotion caught the attention of some partygoers, but in the context of a Halloween party, many assumed it was part of some elaborate prank or performance. What happened next shocked even the most jaded partygoers. Jack Stearns pulled out his gun and shot Kenneth Lindstrand in front of nearly 100 witnesses. The gunshot rang out over the party music and conversation, but incredibly, many of the guests initially thought it was part of a Halloween prank or special effect. The combination of alcohol, costumes, and the theatrical nature of Halloween had created an environment where reality and fantasy became dangerously blurred. Kenneth collapsed to the floor, bleeding from his gunshot wound, but the surreal nature of the situation meant that his injury wasn't immediately recognized as real. In one of the most disturbing aspects of the case, a woman dressed in a hula skirt began dancing over Kenneth's body, saying, "This will wake him up." She continued her macabre dance until she noticed the blood pooling beneath Kenneth's body and realized that what she was witnessing was not a prank, but actual murder. The realization that a real murder had occurred sent shockwaves through the party, with guests screaming and fleeing in panic as they understood that the violence they had witnessed was genuine. Someone called the police, and within minutes, the Halloween party had been transformed into a crime scene. Kenneth Lindstrand was rushed to the hospital, but his injuries were too severe, and he died from the gunshot wound. Jack Stearns was arrested at the scene and charged with murder. The case against him was overwhelming, given the nearly 100 witnesses who had seen him shoot Kenneth. However, the defense argued that Jack had acted in a moment of passion, driven by jealousy and alcohol, and that the murder had not been premeditated. The prosecution countered that Jack had left the party to get a gun and had returned with the specific intention of killing Kenneth. The trial of Jack Gentry Stearns became a sensation in Los Angeles, with the bizarre circumstances of the murder capturing public attention. The fact that so many people had witnessed the killing but had initially mistaken it for a Halloween prank highlighted the strange and disturbing nature of the case. Witnesses testified about the events of that night, describing how the festive atmosphere had suddenly turned deadly and how the line between Halloween fantasy and reality had become tragically blurred. Jack Stearns was ultimately convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. The jury rejected his claims of temporary insanity and found that his actions, while driven by jealousy, constituted deliberate murder. The case served as a stark reminder of how quickly jealousy and possessiveness can turn deadly, and how alcohol and emotional instability can create a perfect storm for violence. If you found this investigation into a Halloween party murder as shocking and disturbing as we did, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel with notifications turned on. We explore the most compelling true crime cases that reveal the dark side of human nature and the tragic consequences of unchecked emotions. Your support helps us continue investigating these important cases and examining how ordinary situations can turn deadly in an instant. Until next time, remember that jealousy is one of the most dangerous emotions, and sometimes the most festive occasions can become the setting for the most tragic events.